We can blame the defensemen. I've done that. We can blame the team as a whole for its defensive inattention or lack of focus. But listen to me clearly when I say this. If the same thing keeps occurring again and again and again, and there isn't an adjustment made to account for it, it's time to stop wondering what's going wrong. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into football and or baseball. I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates where you found this. Islanders 4, Penguins 3 via shootout, which is not the story. Rather, it's that Mike Sullivan's Penguins yet again blew not just a lead, but another 2-goal lead. This one in the third period. The Penguins had actually put together a pretty nice road game. Probably deserved better for the offense they were creating if Ilya Samsonov hadn't been as sharp as he was. For the most part, limited the Islanders' attack. Got themselves a nice 3-1 lead on a terrific insurance goal. Actually, a great overall play between Chris Letang, Jesse Puljujarvi, and then Michael Bunting with the finish for his first goal. It should have been the kind of thing that stuck a dagger in the opponent, except all that ever does with this group is it's a self-stab wound. The Penguins have now played 15 games. They've blown a lead in 5 of their losses, and they've blown a 2-goal lead in 4 of their past 8 games overall. That's not acceptable, and it's not sufficient for either Sullivan or really who we're talking about in this context would be Kyle Dubas, because nothing's changing. Not the performance, not the players. It's just the same guys doing the same things and making the same mistakes again and again and again. And that used to be okay in Penguins land because they used to, do things like make the playoffs and put that little clinched asterisk next to their name as a formality. Wouldn't even realize that it happened that day. So they could just kind of ha their way through it. Can't do that anymore. I don't get the sense, and believe me when I tell you this, by the way, just as a little interlude here, if they win the shootout, I'm telling you the same thing, okay? I'm not attaching this subject matter to this team on this day because of that outcome. They have got to stop blowing leads, and they've really got to stop blowing 2-goal leads. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. There are ways to protect 2-goal leads. There are things that you can do systematically. There are changes that you can make on the ice that are aimed at nothing more than preventing the other team from scoring twice. And I say that, and I know there's easy comebacks to this. I know you can point out Drew O'Connor taking the ill-advised penalty. You can point out this individual or that individual. I'm sorry, when it becomes this much of a collective pattern, I'm past all that. Because even with something like the penalties, all of that can be, it's not routine, it's not simple, but it can be addressed through coaching. And really, if you don't change anything at all as the coach, at least in my eyes, you're sending something of a signal to your entire bench, to your entire team, that what we're doing is the right thing. We just need to be better at it. And I don't know that that's a strong enough message for a team that's put up the defensive numbers the Penguins have to date and that's blown all these leads and it's blowing all these points that they can't afford to blow. They're not going to make the playoffs at anything remotely resembling a pace like this. Sullivan's the one who keeps saying, we're going to defend our way out of this. We're not going to score our way out of this. Okay, then do that. But really do it. Find a way. If you got to pack it in like Team Slovenia at the Sochi Olympics when they pretty much just had Anže Kopitar and 4 guys playing Zamboni in front of the net, do that. Whatever it happens to be, but make the 2-goal lead stand. Make it important. Make it a palpable priority for everybody participating that nothing matters more than preventing the other guys from getting high-grade scoring chances. When we come back, J1Q. Today's J1Q comes from Rob, who says, serious question, has an NHL coach ever lasted 6 years without a playoff series win, including back-to-back years of missing the playoffs? I'm not about to do some big dive into the research books, Rob, but I'm quite comfortable saying it doesn't happen very often. There's some coaches who've been in their positions, not necessarily current positions, but recently, like in this century, who've been in one place for a long time. Barry Trotz in Nashville, back when he was there as coach, jumps to mind. There might have been others along the way, but I'm positive that's not why you're asking it. It's not a great look, and it's especially not a great look when you consider that regardless of their ages, that all through that time, you've had Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, and others. Now, I'm on record and with cause in believing in Sullivan. I don't apologize for that. I think the guy is incredibly smart, organized, passionate, but you'll never hear me call him perfect, in large part because I don't think anybody other than Lars Eller is perfect. And as such, if you continue to pile up negative results, I mean, there's going to be a bigger negative result, you would think, waiting at the end. And that, to be blunt here, is why, to date, the thing that's disappointed me the most about this team to this stage isn't that it's been this dismal defensively, and it really has. It's that they just really haven't tried anything to cut off that bleeding. I mean, it's not enough to just show mistakes on a monitor, wag a finger at practice, but then continue to do the same thing. It's not a good reflection on Sullivan. But I'm also going to remind that there are other factors in this. It's never, when it comes to team sports, about one individual. I've mentioned the players. They can all do better. They can all follow Eller's example in doing everything at his speed, at his rate, with his determination over all 200 feet. Kyle Dubas can't be exempt from this. He put this blue line together. He has yet to make a move of any kind, even just promotion, demotion, to try to address this glaring, obvious, screaming at this point shortcoming. It can be your coach who's responsible for blowing big leads. It can be your players, but at one point or other, it's up to the person running hockey ops to say, hey, maybe there's something I can do too. But no, again, I get what you're saying. I get what you're going for here. I'm not going to argue it. I'm not. If and when I see Sullivan do something on the ice, not talking about it, not stressing it, not having a great answer in a press conference, if that happens on the rink, I'll consider arguing it, but it hasn't. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. We're going to do another one of these tomorrow.